Well, they're often called the snowflake generation, appropriate for this weather, I guess, but are Gen Z, that's people under 27, kind of a bit work-shy?
Well, the Oscar-winning actor Jodie Foster says so. Gen Z can be really annoying to work with. Does she have a point? We asked you.
No, we work smarter, not harder.
They seem to work pretty hard to me.
Previous generations, I think they had more respect for working.
No, I think I work quite hard, actually.
Most of them are hard workers.
A lot of the older people that are like in their 50s, 60s are still very proactive and want to do more and stuff, and I find that the younger generation of people that I work with are not.
Well, veteran broadcaster and journalist Nina Myskow, who's been around the work block a few times.
Oh, yes, decades.
Yeah, you've had a few offices under your belt. She thinks that Gen Zs have no backbone and they've got no work ethic either. While fashion and business entrepreneur Adwoa Owusu-Darko, classed as Gen Z herself, says that that's simply not the case. I put it to you that this is the old generation gap speaking. Just as our parents said that we were long-haired yobs in too tight jeans, we didn't shave enough, we're criticising them for not working hard enough. They just do it differently.
You could say that, and there obviously is part of that. I'm not writing off a generation, but I'm saying that Jodie Foster has a point. She really does, because I think it's not their fault, because they've been brought up. I'm sorry, sorry about they, sorry, Adwoa. Gen Z have been brought up, they've been protected, they've been, in some cases, mollycoddled. And only through adversity do you get some kind of backbone, some kind of resilience and a work ethic. I'd like to finish, if that's all right, Adwoa. And I think
you're criticising Adwoa's generation. It's only fair that she steps up.
That's absolutely fine by me, and I would like to finish my point. I'm saying it's not that generation's fault. It's the fact that they have been brought up to feel entitled to feel that anybody can do anything, which is patently not true.
But anybody can do anything, and I think that the Gen Z generation have a sense of innovation, they have a sense of efficiency, and I think the pandemic has shown that over 50% of Gen Z have a full-time job and a side hustle. And I think to be able to hold a part-time job and pursue an entrepreneurial endeavour, which is what I did all the way through university, had 2 part-time jobs, then started a business, now have 5 streams of income, I think that shows that Gen Z have huge capacity to see beyond what other people have thought were the constraints of their life.
You're an entirely admirable young woman. You're an entrepreneur, but you're completely atypical to me, because you're very privileged. You're very smart. You're creative, and
a lot of Gen Zs have utilised
and you have drive. And I'm not saying there aren't other people like you. There are lots of other people like you, but the vast majority of that generation needs to find a job where somebody will employ them. And this is where the problem starts.
Adwoa, can I ask you something? What do you think of us? What do you think of the boomer generation?
I think the boomer generation have utilised what they have for their generation. And I think we are now having so many more jobs through social media, through so many different avenues, which allow young people to find new ways of earning income. I think if you have the capacity to not necessarily work 10 hours, 12 hours, if not more, and sometimes earn even more income than your counterparts, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
You know, where's your evidence that Adwoa's generation is this entitled generation that hasn't had the adversity?
Many business leaders have spoken about the difficulty.
Which ones?
I can't name them, but there are many of them.
But have you had experience?
I don't have personal experience because I am not that generation. But I'm saying
And what have they said?
They have said it's almost impossible to find people, to find staff, because...
I think that's wrong. I think the Gen Z generation are suffering from unemployment. They're suffering from the amount of jobs that are available are dropping. They're becoming more innovative. They're finding more avenues to find other jobs.
They are making demands. Instead of going for an interview for a job and saying, you know, what are the conditions of the job, and saying, yes, I can take... They say, no, I don't work Friday nights, or I don't work Saturdays. It's like saying,
I think that's setting boundaries, and they're valuing a work-life balance.
It's like saying,
I think if you're working in a business, you're working in a profession that doesn't value your time,
it's like
and value your well-being and value your health.
We have to draw the debate to an end. Thank you both very much indeed. You saw the poll results there on the screen.